There we go. There we go. So I had chain 20 and chained one more, so I had 21. I'm going to chain one more, so I have 22. Now we're going to do double crochets. So I'm skipping the first 2 chains from my hook. 1, 2, and in the third one, first I'm going to loop yarn onto my hook. I'm going to go into the top of the chain. I'm going to hook yarn through, so we have 3 loops like we did for the half double crochet, right? Now this is where it makes it different. We loop yarn through the first 2. Come on, the first 2. But we got to make sure we go through cleanly. Try again. Yarn, 3 loops. I want to pull yarn through the first 2. There we go. Now I've got 2 loops still. Now we pull all the way through. That is a double crochet. Watch it again. We're going to loop yarn onto the hook, go into the top of the chain. We're going to loop yarn through 3 loops. Now we're going to loop once and pull through 2. We've got 2 chains, and pull through again both chains. That's a double crochet. So loop yarn onto the hook, go into the top of the chain, loop yarn again, 3 loops. We pull yarn through the first 2 loops. We've got 2 loops on the hook, pull yarn through 2 hoops. So you're making it so that you pull yarn through 2 hoops twice. There's your yarn on the hook, go into the top of the chain, pull it through, you've got 3. Pull yarn through the first 2 and pull yarn through the second 2. That's what it's starting to look like. So we loop yarn onto the hook, go through the top of the chain, loop yarn again on the hook, and we've got 3 loops. We pull through the first 2 and we pull through the second 2. And at the top of the double crochet, you have 1 loop again. All right. We loop yarn onto the hook. We go into the top of the chain. We loop yarn through 3 loops. Go through the first 2. Go through the second 2. And there's a double crochet. Like this. Just like that. Loop yarn onto the hook. Go into the top of the chain, loop yarn through 3 loops, pull yarn through first 2 loops, pull yarn through second 2 loops, and loop yarn and into the top of the chain, and 3 loops, pull yarn through the first 2, pull yarn through the second 2, and another double crochet. All right. Here we go, another one, 3 loops, first 2 loops, second 2 loops, loop yarn over, into the top of the chain, pull yarn through 3 loops, pull yarn through the first 2, pull yarn through the second 2. Again, 3 loops, pull yarn through the first 2, and pull yarn through the second 2. There we go. Into there. First 2, second 2. Loop yarn, go into the chain, pull yarn through 3 loops, pull through the first 2, pull through the second 2. Loop the yarn into the chain, pull it through, and you have 3 loops. Pull it through 2 loops, pull it through the second 2 loops. Loop yarn onto the hook. Hook into the top of the chain. Pull yarn through so you have 3 loops. Pull yarn through the first 2 loops, 2 loops on the hook. Pull yarn through the second 2 hoops. Again, loop onto the hook one time, go into the chain, pull yarn through 3 hoops or loops on the hook, pull through the first 2, pull through the second 2, into the chain, 3 stitches, 3 loops, pull through the first 2, pull through the second 2. Here's the last one. There we go, and that's hang on, there we go. That's a row. That's what double crochets look like. Now if you're going to continue this like with 20 chains, or 20, I should say 20 double crochets, if you look at it like that, that's wide enough to be a scarf. So if you just wanted to do that and make a scarf, here's what you would do. This is what they call the turn. Okay, so here at the end of the, you've got the you've been collecting the material, the finished stitches in this hand, right, and are underneath it. So you chain 2 here, and now you turn it, right, so that you're looking at the back of your first row. And to continue making double crochets, we're going to hook through the top of the stitch. Let me show you how that's done. So here's this puka right here. I'm going to stick my needle through it. There we go. See, that's the top of the chain right there. From this angle, here we go. You can see there's the top of the chain, right? Okay. But we're going to work it from this side. So let me bring that out. We've chained our 2. We've turned it. Get my hand set back up. Okay. We loop the yarn onto the hook. Now we're going into there. So what you're doing is, this is the stitch itself going this way down, and you're going into the little space that's right at the top. And if you look at it from this way, you see the V of your stitch right here? So you're underneath that V. See it? This way? All right, and from this angle, I'll just show you. When you loop it, there we go. We're going to hook all the way through. And there's our 3 loops. And then we pull through 2. And we pull through 2. Like that. So you're building it on top. Now, see, there's the next puka, the next shot space that we're going into. So we loop, we go into that space underneath the 2 stitches, like that, and hook on this side, and we're pulling through the space. We don't want to hook any of the yarn that's already there. That way the yarn still flows freely through the thing. See how it's flowing freely through the space? Okay. Yeah, you don't want to hook your yarn into the yarn. You want to hook it, you want to hook your needle into the space. I don't know if you can see it there. Okay, but you have 3 loops on your needle. Pull through the first 2. Pull through the second 2. Again, it's going to be loop yarn onto the needle, go right here into the space. We're going through right to the other side, where we're going to hook this yarn and bring it through the space so that you have 3 loops on the needle, and then you hook it through 2 and hook it through 2, like this, through the space, hook it through 2 and hook it through 2. Yarn on the needle into the space. You can see the V on the top, right? Okay. pull it through the space. So you have 3 loops on the needle, pull it through 2, pull it through 2. And again, into the space. You see it's right there, that space right there. Into the space, 3 loops, pull through 2. Oh. See, and that's what happens if you pull through the yarn, then it splits like that. You don't want that. It makes the yarn catch so it doesn't flow easily on your needle. So there we go. I was able to work around it. And then you pull it through 2. Okay? Again, into the space. Pull this through so you have 3 loops. Pull this through the first 2. Pull it through the second 2. Into the space at the top of the stitch. 3 loops. Pull it through 2. Pull it through 2. Again, loop yarn onto the needle. Put the needle through the space. Pull yarn through the space. 3 loops. Pull through the first 2. Pull through the second 2. Loop yarn on the needle. Needle through the space. Pull the yarn through the space. 3 loops. Pull through the first 2. Pull through the second 2. Couple more. Right, into the space. There we go. 3 loops. Pull through 2. Pull through 2. And we go in and pull the yarn through, pull through 2, pull through 2. Loop the yarn over. Go into this space. Come back out. 3 loops. We go through the first 2, then we go through the second 2. Again, we're going into the space at the top of the stitch, all the way through, so you see the V. Okay, pull the yarn through, pull the yarn through 2, pull the yarn through 2. Yarn into the space, hook into the space, pull the yarn through, 3 loops, pull through the first 2, pull through the second 2. Loop yarn onto your needle, go into the space, pull the yarn through. You've got 3 loops, you pull through the first 2, pull through the second 2. You end up with 1 loop on your needle. Then you yarn over, that's what they call it, yarn over. Push your needle through the space, hook more yarn, pull it through, you've got 3 loops. First 2, second 2. Again, yarn over into the space. You've got 3 loops on the needle, 1 and 2. Okay, and then this is the last one. It might be tricky because what you're seeing at the end are your turn chains when you first started the row. You don't want to go into that space. You want to go into the space at the top of the stitch, which is right there. Okay? And then we're going to yarn over, go into the space, pull the yarn through, 3 loops, pull once, pull twice. All right, let me show you another aspect of it. There's 2 rows. Okie doke. Now, we can count stitches. So let's count stitches. This is where we ended the first row. This is the start of your chain. This is the end of the row because here's the 2 chains that we started the second row with. So this is the first stitch in this row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, I lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm trying to spread it out so you can see the space in between stitches. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Oh, how do we only have 19? Oh, I hate when I do that. There should be 20 in that row. Maybe I counted wrong. Okay, but that's how you count. All right, you can see the space between the stitches. Those are your stitches right there, okay? All right, and here's the row we just did. These are the 2 turn chains. They don't count as stitches. That's just your turn chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Oh, somehow I've only got 19 stitches. I thought I had 20. Okay, but that's what it looks like. There's 2 rows of double crochets.